The only group of people that I've ever seen with more hatred in their heart for black conservatives, well, besides black liberals, are white liberals. And as a wise man once said, I have not seen the Democrats this pissed off since Abraham Lincoln helped to free the slaves. It is incredible how these people will show their true colors the moment you begin to disagree with their democratic plantation ideology. It is incredible. So we're just going to go ahead and give this guy the mic, Peter Griffin Jr. And y'all will see for yourselves exactly how they feel about folks.
You don't think Republicans care about black people?
Oh yeah, they hate them. They hate them. They love using them as a cudgel.
What would you say?
This coming from the party of, you better thank a union member. If you vote for Donald Trump and you don't vote for me, you're not black. Is that not the same party? Huh? Mr. Obama, if you do not vote for Kamala, you are a misogynist, a sexist, and internalized racist.
Say to black Republicans
That they're dumb. They're like the Jewish Nazis that existed back in the day. They're like gay Republicans. They're like trans.
Do you think Ben Carson, the doctor, is dumb?
Yeah. If you've ever seen the movie Django, you have your house, let's call them slaves.
Say it.
House slaves.
I know you say it. I know you say the word behind closed doors. Just say it. Say it with your whole entire chest because that's how you feel. By the way, did y'all notice the muzzle on his hand? This is a clear, distinct indicator of mental insanity in the year of our Lord 2025. If you are still wearing a mask and you are not somebody who is going through something severe or somebody in your household is, you're questionable at best. Let's just put it that way.
And you got your field slaves. And they pit the two groups against each other. It's very simple. Republicans, or rather, the conservative party in the South, has been using the fear of black people to suppress white people since before slavery existed. And they do it to this day. Obviously,
Wait, did he just say the conservative?
To suppress white people, the conservative party in the South has been using the fear of black people.
Does he not understand the fact that black folk in America were vastly and almost exclusively Republicans upwards until maybe the 1970s? You know, we can go into Lyndon Baines Johnson, LBJ all day long. I don't need to. I've done it 100 other times. But is he not aware of the fact that the Confederacy of the South was a democratic movement?
To suppress white people since before slavery existed. And they do it to this day. Obviously, back in the day, it was the Democrats because they were the Southern race.
Since before slavery existed. Don't get it twisted, folks. Sometimes they be fooling you because they got glasses on or whatever it is, and you think to yourself, oh, this might be an intelligent person. He looks like he's got a touch of the tism. And some of them folks with a touch of the tism are, you know, they're dialed in. They know their stuff. And a little chubby, he probably spends a lot of time, you know, sedentary, etc. You might make these. I made the type of assumptions, but then I saw the muzzle and I knew immediately, oh, that's what we're dealing with. Okay, got you.
Since before slavery existed. And they do it to this day. Obviously, back in the day, it was the Democrats because they were the Southern racists, and then they party flipped in the 80s, blah, blah, blah.
What do you
Party flipped in the 80s. That's cute. The party flipped in the 80s. I would love to do just a full-blown expose of the myth of the party flip. Here's the thing. There was never a flipping of the party as far as the, I guess, platform itself, right? The ideology of the parties looks and seems to have switched, but what happened was they just changed their operation. They changed the way in which they essentially projected themselves. So they went from being the party of slavery, party of Jim Crow, the party who opposed the Civil Rights Act. And the reason why LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson, had to sign that act in the first place is because he was forced to, because that bill passed through the House as well as the Senate, who were a majority Republican. These are just the facts. This is upwards till 1963, 1965, right? So what happened was LBJ understood that because there was integration, he had to find his way into consistent long-term power, or at least for his party to have long-term power. And so they switched up their conversation. He went from being one of the most notorious racists to all of a sudden being, I don't know, a advocate for black folk, speaking of how slavery was an injustice and how we need to basically help out the black population. And therefore he introduces, a slew of legislation that is creating social reform and welfare programs and housing. And so basically he went from, the idea that we should be in shackles and chains physically to we should be in shackles and chains mentally, emotionally, and at the very least financially, right? Dependent upon the Democratic plantation for basically everything. And to never wean ourselves off of the government, but instead to be reliant upon that government. So there's your switch. It was a switch of tactic. That's why I said switch of operation, the way in which they operated, right? Same party, same modus operandi. That's why they're still the ones who see you as lesser than. Shout out to Dr. Carol Swain. She goes in depth about this. Y'all should look up a video. I think it's like the truth about the Republican Party or something of that nature, where she breaks down the entire history. And one of the best, or most revealing aspects was the difference between today's Republican and why they're not fixated on these issues of race, etc., is because they view you as an equal. Because in this day and age, you are. There's no law holding you back. There's no, reform that has to be done. The reform that needed to be done is already done. But yet this party continues to use these messages of racism, sexism, homophobia, whatever the hell it is, in order to continue to galvanize their own constituents or their own voter base in order to hold on to power. That's what's going on there. So, yeah, I would love to get into conversations with individuals who are still spewing this type of nonsense.
Think about biological men competing in women's sports.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. How many biological men are competing in sports? I think it's 20? Literally 20. This is an example. This is an example of culture war and conservatives using the house slaves versus the field slaves.
This dude is definitely getting all of his information from TikTok. From that side of TikTok. The side of TikTok where they put their phones up and they cry, and then they have to restart the video because there wasn't an angle, the lighting was off, then they have to re-cry, and then they put the title on it, boom, 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 then they post it to the world to see them crying. That's the side of TikTok that this dude exists on. Because ain't no way. 20? There are only 20 males who are competing in female sports. There are 20 males in a single sport who are competing in female sports, let alone in athletics overall. I'm utterly gobsmacked at this point. But again, that's why I do what I do, because the propaganda machine is indeed propagandizing. It is doing exactly what it's intended to do. And so we need to be out here to tell the damn truth about what's really going on. And these people, again, my main point was really the fact that they genuinely see black people as nothing more than a tool to be used in order to, again, to virtue signal or to signal to their own of how down they are, how down for the cause they are, right? It's like if you're a religious person, you're going to prostrate yourself. You're going to do certain things in order to show everybody else around you that you're really with it. I'm holy. Some people in some religions, they self-flagellate. Is that the word? Not flatulate, right? Farting on yourself. They will literally beat themselves to show that they're devoted to their God. It's the same type of thing. It doesn't matter how idiotic, how maniacal. I mean, again, that's why these are the type of people that will support everything from the mass unaliving of babies to the mass chemical castrations of children. Like, these are the exact same people who stand for all of that. They will first support the criminal while, the women that they claim to care so much about are being massacred in the streets like dogs. They claim to be for women, but will not protect the real women in opposition to the men pretending to be women. That's who these people are. It's not about an idea, it's not about truth. It's not about what is right or wrong. It's about appealing to their cult. That's all it's about. Showing themselves to be these, the symbol of virtue. Look at me. I am good person. Never once questioning, is this actually moral or not? Is this right or is this wrong? They create right or wrong. I think in the scriptures it says, if you're dark, if you perceive your darkness to be light, then how dark is that darkness? Like, you think you're in the right. You think you're doing what's good, but your good is actually evil. Therefore, how evil is your evil? How dark is your darkness? There is no end to this. That's why these are the same people who are going to be supporting the PDFs and already are. Talking about PDFs are, they can express their love too. Are you serious? The same ones who, laugh off the furry situation. Do y'all know what that furry stuff is really about? Do y'all know what that's really about? Sickness and grotesqueness. Humans and animals? Okay. But it's the same people. It's the exact same crowd. It's the exact same crowd. This is incredible, folks. This is truly, truly incredible. Wow. But again, I'm glad I get to do what I do, because I couldn't just let this type of stuff slide. I can't. Not at this point in my life. I think just the older you get, the less you give a damn about what anybody else got to say about you, hopefully. And the more you're just willing to tell the truth as it is. You get less and less patience for the BS. And that's where I'm at with it. And I don't want my kids being brought up in this type of situation with these types of people being given such platforms. I mean, again, freedom of speech, absolutely. But there should be consequences to all speech. Lies should be addressed, because these sorts of deviations from reality become dangerous. And we've seen it as far as the effect that it's now had, and how children are stripped away from their parents, or, parents are so deluded, so narcissistic, and they get away with abusing these children in the most heinous of ways that they won't be able to correct later down the road, later in life. Man, this is incredible. But these are the same people who call us dumb, though. That's them. This guy. Can't make this stuff up. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Now, if you'd like to stay around, make sure to click that little subscribe button down there, or you can show some love by going to the description below and clicking on the button titled Buy Me a Coffee. Leave a little something there, or click on the Cash App. Leave a little something here. Till the next time, peace.
I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking. A 365, that's a full rotation. I see you looking up, you know them constellations. Constantly gazing like house of praises, you get to praising.